guys, myself Animesh from the CodeCon presents to you the web development roadmap. So, what is web development? Web development is a path to become a web developer that can be a front end developer, back end developer, full stack developer. So, what are they? What is this web development? It is a very high demand skills in today's world. So, every IT guys or non-IT guys can apply for it, can opt for it, can learn these things free on the internet and make a money out of it or get a job out of it. So in this video, I will be discussing about the roadmap of how to get started into this web development field. So let's get started without wasting any more time. So let's talk about what are the type of web developers. So there are three types of web developers: front-end developers, back-end developers, and full stack developers. Front-end developers are developers who develop the UI or the designing of the website. That we see in every website that it's very well designed and the interaction is very well because everything is very user friendly. So that user friendliness, this interface, the interaction with the website, the all responsibility goes to the front-end developers. So what is the work of the back-end developers? Backend developer work the main business logic. Just like take an example of YouTube. With YouTube, what we do? We watch videos, we watch tutorials, streaming the videos. Um, a, a content creator uploading a video into the website. So we're all doing that using that front end we are seeing, but all the uploading stuff and the streaming stuff are done by the backend development. So all the things are done in the backend, which we cannot see, but these are the work of the backend developers. Okay, who are the full stack developers? The full stack developers are the developers who have both the knowledges of front end and backend development, and also take their knowledge further to build apps and desktop application with it. So we will be discussing about all these development roadmaps. So you can be a front end, a back end, or a full stack developer. Obviously, a full stack developer is very a high demand than a front end or a back end. Okay, but both of the front end and back end are also very high demanding. So just dive into it and test whatever suits for you, and you can opt for one. So now let's go further. So let's begin our front end development roadmap. So as I said, what is front end? Front end is a process of designing the UI and making it eye catchy for the customers. A front end developer should make the website like this that the user can easily understand what to do in this website. Okay. So let's discuss about some of the technologies we are going to use in front end development. So, first of all, let's talk about the basic technologies, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so HTML, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is not a programming language; it's a markup language. That is, every rules in HTML are pre-written. We just have to apply the mock up the rules and apply them into the code. We don't have to memorize after we learn HTML. After we make a couple of projects, it will be memorized by its own. So HTML is very easy, and the main purpose of the HTML is to build the structure of a website. Just like a human body has a skeleton body structure, just like a house, before building a house we build a structure of a house. So like that only, before building a website we have to build a structure. So what is the structure? Mainly the components we use in the website, like buttons, videos, like nav bars, like divs, like more text, like this, colors. Everything is a component. So these components are provided by the HTML. Okay. So by default, the components look a little ugly. So to make them prettier and give them styling, we use CSS. Okay. So CSS unleash the design of the HTML pages and takes the design to a next level. So CSS is a very in demand skill, and it has many things to learn if you learn in depth. Okay, so you can do many things with CSS, like animations, like you can make a photo editor app. You can edit photos with CSS also. So CSS is very good, and it is must required to design the websites. And as you know, designings and making eye-catchy websites are like a competition in today's world. Okay, so we have got the structure, we have got the style. So then now what we need? We need the brain. We need to make the HTML and CSS work, like apply some logic to it and make it work. We don't want static pages to show some images, text, only that. We want actions, we want some thing to do. The HTML and CSS are doing something, so adding some dynamic content, the content is changing. So for that we have to use a programming language that is called JavaScript. There is no other options for it. You can only do it with JavaScript. JavaScript is used to be only web-based language. Is mainly written for web technologies. But now, after coming out of Node.js, what is Node.js? We will be discussing further in the video. JavaScript can be used in a very large scale, and it is very much popular in today's world. So you have to learn JavaScript, and I will tell you that after HTML, CSS, give a much more time to the JavaScript part. Okay, and it will be very much fun. Okay, then after completing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can say you are a front end developer, because these are the three basic building blocks of becoming a front end developer. So now, what about CSS and JS libraries? Okay, so for JS libraries, jQuery used to be before some time, but nowadays vanilla JavaScript is fine. We don't have to learn a jQuery. But it's your choice. You can learn a jQuery because the vanilla JavaScript syntax is pretty long. So if you are uncomfortable with the long syntax, so you can learn a jQuery, which will help you a lot to reduce the syntax size. Okay. So then we have to learn Bootstrap, or you can learn Tailwind CSS. What are these? These provide pre-built components like a nav bar, like a cart, like a card, like a box, or like something colors, predefined colors, predefined button styles. Okay, so we don't have to write CSS for every button styles. Okay, so we just have to apply a class and we can use the components. So a Bootstrap is very much useful. You can also go for Tailwind CSS, but for beginners, Tailwind CSS is not recommended. You can start with Bootstrap, and Bootstrap can fulfill all your needs. So that's all with the basics of the front end technologies. But in today's world, basics are not enough. We have to take it to an advanced level. Okay, because it is a world full of competition. So to get into the advanced level, we are going to see some advanced topic of front end technologies. So these are the some advanced technologies of front end we have to know, or we may know. This it is not recommended, or it is not mandatory, but some things are mandatory, like SAS. What is SAS? SAS is known as SCSS, big brother of CSS. Okay, it is a CSS preprocessor that is used to unleash the power of CSS. CSS doesn't have variables like other programming language, but CSS3 has, but not many features. Like we cannot use modules like this and extra features. We cannot loop nested nest things. So using SAS, we can nest styles. We can easily write very complex CSS code using SAS. Okay, so the pro developer always use many of the pro developer use SAS for to increase their productivity. Okay, so it is a must. You can learn after learning the basics. So what is npm? Npm is a package manager. If you are a Python boy or a Python girl, you have heard of pip. Pip is a package manager for Python. Okay, so using Python, you have installed many packages like pip install this, pip install that. Same only here in JavaScript, you can use npm install this, npm install that. You can install many components, pre-built components, which you can use in our project. You don't have to write a code from scratch. Already some people have written and uploaded it into the npm. After you become a pro developer or gain some knowledge into this field, you can also make your own npm packages and upload it in the npm website. Okay, so that about npm. Then comes a very important part. Before some time, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript were pretty enough to make website, and front-end frameworks are not that necessary. But for now, if you want to go for a front-end developer job, they will ask you to know a front-end framework. What is the advantages of front-end framework? Let me discuss that. With front-end framework, you can design single-page applications. Okay, what is single-page application? They does not reload from going from one page to another. Just like some websites reload as they switch from one site to another site. So it's a bit slow thing. Uh, but in a single-page application, they does not reload. Just like YouTube. YouTube is a single-page application. So to make this to so there are top three front-end framework that are React, Angular, and Vue. uh, I mostly prefer React or Vue for beginners, because Angular is a bit large and many inbuilt, a huge number of inbuilt features. But React is not a framework that way; it's a library, but it has more. Is that it has more features to tell to become a framework. So my recommendation and my liking is React. So you can choose whatever you want. Okay. So then after learning a front-end framework, then you can go with a designing. Designing is very important in a front-end development. You have to know this skill, like wireframing, designing the mock-up of the website. What is that? That wireframing is planning of the website. Where will be the button? Where will be the navbar? Where will be the animation? Something like this. But what is mock-up? You are developing a image like structure of a website before developing the website. Okay, so that will be easier to develop after you got a mock-up ready. Okay, so that's all for the front end technologies, I think. So what you have to do in front while learning front end, because I have completed my front end. I know a full stack development, so I can suggest you that while learning, of my experience while learning, you don't give much time to HTML and CSS. Many guys stuck at CSS. I also got stuck at CSS because it was huge, many things to learn. I got excited and learned many things. So I have wasted some more time on CSS, but you can, don't waste that much time, 2 3 weeks for HTML and CSS. But you have to give more time on JavaScript. If you want to do backend and frontend both on JavaScript, you have to give a lot of time on JavaScript. Okay, so give a 2 months or 3 months time on JavaScript, or else you can give 2 months um, on JavaScript and learn all the basics and advanced concept. JavaScript is very much easy language, and you will fall in love with JavaScript like me. Let's get to the next part, which is CSS libraries and advanced CSS. Then you can learn advanced CSS and stuff, make some clone of the website, front end clones. Okay, so that landing pages. So you can learn the advanced CSS stuff, Flexbox, CSS Grid, that stuff. Okay. Then you have to learn the front-end framework. Before learning the front-end framework, you must have the clear knowledge of the JavaScript ES6 releases. All the ES6 releases should be clear to you before learning a front-end framework. That means the advanced part of the JavaScript should be clear to you before jumping into a front-end framework. So that's it for the front-end development. Let's move to the back-end development. So what is backend development? As I said, storing data, adding data, streaming files, getting data from the database, showing it into the user interface, that is the front end. Okay, making the front end work. So that is the work of a backend. So how to build a backend? What are the technologies basically used? I will not go in depth with backend because Backend is a little trickier if you know. Many technologies are there, so I don't go very deep into the backend, but I will tell you the technologies that are used into the backend. Okay, so the most popular technologies that are used in today's world in backend technologies that are Node.js plus Express, Python plus Django, PHP plus Laravel, Java plus Spring. Okay, so what are plus? That means with every programming languages, that is Node.js is not a programming language. They use JavaScript. So with this, every languages we use a framework. Why you use a framework? But because if we sit to code the whole thing, big thing with just the programming language, it will consume a very long time, and you cannot complete your web development. So we have to work smart. So for that we use frameworks. Okay, so let's start with Node.js and Express. Let's discuss this what it is. Okay, so as I said, JavaScript was not before not run on devices, only run on the Chrome V8 engine. That is, it only runs on the web browsers. So engineer who make the Node.js thinks that let's take JavaScript out of the browser. So he made a runtime environment, that is Node.js, which can run JavaScript out of the browser anywhere in the servers, in the computers, in the mobiles. Okay, any devices. So using Node.js, we can run JavaScript anywhere. So using that Node.js and Express framework makes it very much easy, because it is built out because JavaScript is a very fast language. So with Express and Java, Node.js and JavaScript, you can build chat applications, streaming applications, which are meant to be very fast. So you can see this technology is very fast. So to build fast application, you can choose this type of backend. So if you have a website which is doing AI, ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence, okay, so you need more processing power. Okay, so for that, Node.js is not your choice. For that, you have to choose a Django. Django is a Python framework. There are also frameworks like Flask, or many things are there. But Django is very much popular and used in production ready applications. And you can, if you are a Python boy or Python girl, you can opt for Django very easily. Okay, and it comes with great features inbuilt, more than Node.js. So you can easily learn it and go ahead with the backend and explore it. So then there are some old technologies, but still in use by very big companies. PHP plus Laravel and Java plus Spring. So PHP is an old language, we all know. We have all heard once that about PHP. Okay. So PHP is a scripting language. Mainly, it was made for web development. Okay. So you can use PHP backend and make your pages, websites. Still, it's worth it. And Java plus Spring. If you are a Java developer and you like Java, you love Java, just like I love JavaScript. So you can, if you think I love Java, I will continue my web development with Java. So you can continue with Java plus Spring and make a backend out of it. Okay. So now let's these are all about the backend technologies. You can choose whatever type of website you want to build, and according to that you choose your backend. Okay. So let's move further. So after that, we are going to talk about databases. That is, there are two type of databases: SQL and non-SQL. Much of technical terms, but you don't need to know this at all now. When you are going to learn about databases, if you are in a college, you are going to learn DBMS in your college also. So databases management system. So databases are advanced topics in backend. So what are the use of the databases? Databases are basically used for storing our data, static data. If we put some data in a form and that it is getting into the database, like if you are filling a Google form, the where is the data is going? The data is going in the database, and through the database the owner of the site is fetching the data and working on it. Okay, so that's like there are two type of database, SQL and non-SQL, no SQL. So MongoDB is a modern data, is a old database, but used in modern applications and very much popular right now. So it's a document based JSON like structure based database. So you can if you like the new if you work with the new technologies, you can go with the MongoDB. MySQL is also right, but MongoDB is a bit easier than MySQL. Okay, MySQL have something more difficult than MongoDB. So databases are not that bad, but not that hard. If you get into the backend, you will understand and you will learn very quickly. So you can choose from MongoDB or SQL, MySQL. Both are fine. So what are the Firebase? Firebase is a cloud platform of Google. This is mainly intended for mobile apps because they needs to be very fast and they needs to read data very fast. So that's why Firebase is used in very much mobile applications. In web applications also it's been used. So you can learn it, but if you want to skip it, you can just stick with MongoDB and SQL, and later on you will explore Firebase. Okay. So let's get further. So some more stuffs, and there are also some essential stuff you want to know. You have built the website, you have built the front end, you have built the back end. So while building it, you may if you are doing a project, okay, so there may be a bug. The website was working fine, but due to some code changes a bug appeared, but you cannot fix it now. So there comes to help Git. Git is a project management system. It's used to manage your project. Like that, I have said that scenario. If you stuck in a project, then so what you want to do? You have to go to the previous state when it was working. So then you can use Git and easily go back to that stage when it was working. Okay. And what is GitHub? GitHub is where you can host your project and host your project online and progress. You can use Git and GitHub simultaneously and set up your project in the online using GitHub. So that's about the project management and how you are going to build uh, a project. So Git and GitHub is a really necessary skill you have to learn if you are a IT in IT or computer science. You have to learn Git and GitHub. Okay. If you have seniors, you have seen them using GitHub accounts. So this may be fascinating to you. The what they do in there. So these are the things they do there. Okay. You can also host your front end landing pages into that GitHub and show it to your friends that I have made this. Okay. So with GitHub, you can do that. So then comes to AWS. AWS is basically a very advanced concept. It's a concept of deployment when you are going to deploy your applications into the cloud. So, so for that, you can start with Amazon Web Services. Okay. Then using web sockets. Web sockets are used for mainly used for real-time chat applications. So if you are making an chat application using JavaScript, you can use WebSockets. Then comes React Native. What is React Native? React Native is a uh, uh, big brother of React. Okay. So with if you know React, you have learned React, you can shift into React Native and make native cross-platform apps from React Native. What are cross-platform apps? These are apps which you can run both on Android and on iOS. So that will be great if you use the web development knowledge to build mobile applications. Okay. So that's it for the stuffs, and many more things are there. While you will learn according to it, you will get to know all the things. So these are the basic things you need to know to get into this web development field, or to get a job in a web development career as a front end or back end or as a full stack. Okay. So if you like the video, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, The Code Con. And also you can follow me on Instagram. I have an Instagram account where I post daily quizzes about this web development topics. I used to share web development posts about related technologies. So you can check it out and be a part of our family. So until next time, this is Animesh signing off. See you in the next video.